Let's talk about Crit Ferocity. It's the brand new skill that takes advantage of negative affinity and offers some insane damage buffs.
Wow.
It's the perfect skill for raw weapons that have very high raw and very high negative affinity. This skill is certainly the new meta when it comes to raw builds. So, in this video, we'll be trying out a build that's focused on maximizing Crit Ferocity. But the main question is, what weapon should you use with this skill? The official Monster Hunter Now X account suggests that you pair Critical Ferocity with the dual blades, the longsword, and the bow. These are fast attacking weapons that hit the monster multiple times. But for this video, I won't be following their recommendation, and I'll be using a different weapon. I'll be using the Tigrex Switch Axe. Now before you guys start questioning my weapon choice in the comment section, my favorite superhero once said,
I missed the part where that's my problem.
wait, wrong Spider-Man. I mean this one.
Nah, I'ma do my own thing.
So I'ma do my own thing. I did. For this Crit Ferocity build, we equip the Tigrex Helm and waist to get Crit Ferocity level 3. Then we get another point of Crit Ferocity from our Tigrex weapon. For more damage, we will equip the Rathian Vambraces for burst level 2 and lock on. We will also equip the Nergigante Mail with Nergigante Avidity, Sneak Attack, and Evade Extender, which will be helpful to improve our ability to dodge while in sword mode. Lastly, we will equip the Nergigante Legs to get Nergigante Avidity.
Wait a minute!
Now, I know it's kinda awkward that we have recoil down and reload speed in the build, even though we're not using a bowgun weapon. But we're just equipping the Nergi legs to get Nergigante Avidity. Now, you can always swap it out for the Zinogre legs for burst. But the difference with having more burst versus having more Nergigante Avidity is that you have to work towards activating burst. Now it may be easy to activate this skill with the dual blades or the longsword, but with the switch axe, it's a bit more difficult. That's why I'd rather have more Nergigante Avidity than burst. The main downside is that we'll lose our special move, which is quite a bummer. Overall, the build has negative 65% affinity thanks to our Tigrex weapon and Crit Ferocity level 4. Then we have burst level 2, Nergigante Avidity level 2, and Sneak Attack level 1. Now, you can still totally use this build for the dual blades and the longsword, but it's also viable for the switch axe. Swinging in axe mode or in sword mode is still quite fast, so you get a lot of chances to proc Crit Ferocity and still get a ton of damage due to the motion values of the switch axe. The higher the motion value of an attack, the bigger the damage you'll get from Crit Ferocity. And I saw some great value every time Crit Ferocity procs with my axe attacks and sword attacks. Through this build, I also noticed that the switch axe's file explosions work differently in Monster Hunter Now. Apparently, these small explosions can crit. That means they also get affected by negative affinity. And each small explosion also gets the chance to get buffed by Crit Ferocity. This build can output a ton of damage. But the biggest downside of Crit Ferocity is that it's very RNG. Sometimes you'll get into a hunt and Crit Ferocity just procs every time. But there will also be hunts where all you'll get is negative affinity debuffs. With negative 65% affinity, you have a higher chance of becoming unlucky. It will never be as consistent as Crit Element. But if the stars align, I could argue that it can match the damage output of Crit Element. That's why for raw weapons, I mainly use them for farming builds. If you're interested, you can check out my farming build in this video right here. But that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.